So, hi guys, welcome to another episode, and today we will be reviewing Batman Detective Comics issue number 6. Now, in the last issue of Detective Comics, like I said, the comic was actually cut off short. We only gave like 12 pages of the current story of Detective Comics, and all we saw was basically the Penguin being revealed and seeing Charlotte going into the Iceberg Lounge. And, in this issue continues that story. So we open up with two characters, one named Jill and one named Jack, or aka Snakeskin. Basically, he can change his face and appearance, so he can look like a different guy or whatnot with the change of, I guess when you punch him or whatnot, he can change his face and change his looks. So yeah, they're both discussing about a plan to rob the Penguin, go into the Iceberg Lounge and, stealing all the money from the Penguin's vault. So after seeing that, we see basically Batman finding the dead body of Raju from a couple issues back. Back in the Dollmaker story, we saw a guy who was working for the Penguin, and his name was Raju, and, now basically Batman found his dead body. And upon finding his dead body, he needs to find out who killed him, So with that said, they found, clues to there's this eye-patched woman, and, that they've been recently been hunting this guy named Nicholas Pogg and stuff like that. So now, Batman has to go find him. So after that, we see, not the Joker, but Penguin. Basically, he's like in a room full of like all these other villains. Like these villains you have never seen before. And we find out that these are actually new villains that are in this story. So the Penguin is saying like, oh, he's going to take them under his wing. He's going to keep all their cash and jewelry and stuff like that all safe in his vault because, they're still newbies. They're like new villains, so they don't really have much out there in the world. If they're by themselves, they probably get picked out by Batman. So the Penguin's handling everything, for them and taking care of them. And we see some interesting villains, I guess. This guy named Gas, or like these like interesting villains you never see before, like Hypnotic and stuff like that. Pretty interesting. Hopefully they have something more to do with the story, just to be like, oh, they're just new villains, just to see a group of villains. But yeah, and after that, we see, actually what happens is, before you see the whole group of villains, you see like, the girl with the eye patch, Jill, come in, and she actually knocks out Charlotte. So we find out that actually Jill is her sister, and Charlotte is actually infiltrating the Iceberg Lounge to, dig up dirt on the Penguin so that he can get arrested. And after that, basically Jill and Charlotte, go on their way with Charlotte going to dig up more dirt and having, Jill trying to plant the C4s and whatnot around the Iceberg Lounge so they can, jack the Penguin. And then after that, we see Batman interrogating, assistant of Nicholas Pogg, this guy named, I forgot what his name was, forgot his name. But, basically he interrogates him, finds out where Nicholas Pogg is, finds his dead body, and finds out who killed him. And then he has to go to the Iceberg Lounge to meet up with Charlotte. And after that, we see Charlotte actually going to this secret room, or this, closed-off area. She uses Jill's business card to get in. Because she stole it. And when she goes in there, she thinks that Jill's in there and whatnot, but actually it is Snakeskin, and he actually stabs Charlotte. And after that, she's like bleeding out, and Batman comes along and saves her, but then gets trapped along, with her in the room because Snakeskin locks the door. And then a big pile of ice comes around and collapses against Batman and Charlotte. Upon saying Batman Detective Comics is still not doing so well for me. It's just okay. It's not that great. I mean, it's just okay. Like, the story is just okay. I don't feel like it's giving me enough to keep going sometimes, but, I'm still going to be picking up the issues, but it's just still, like, the story seems so flat and uninteresting. I mean, like, they added the whole concept with, you know, these new group of villains, you know, that could possibly have a chance at being more relevant to, you know, the Batman universe now. And also that they actually try to make Batman more like... so basically when he actually goes and saves Charlotte and gets locked in a room, he was careless and saying like, oh, he let his lover or whatever, you know, block or cloud his judgment, and he was sloppy, so he got them in this situation because he was more like trying to save Charlotte because he loves her and stuff like that. So he's saying like he endangered him because, you know, of his love for her. Which is like, normally you don't see that a lot in Batman. Like, he is basically the straightforward guy. He doesn't like let feelings, you know, get to him at times. Like, you know, generally it doesn't happen all the time. And then they incorporate it into this issue, and it felt like it was put in a spot where like I was just like, what? Like, I know Batman loves Charlotte, but like it feels like, you know, like, I don't know, like, it just doesn't seem right. Like, his connection with Charlotte is just basically, you know, they met with each other as a, you know, as her as a reporter and stuff like that, and then they had sex, and, you know, now they're in love with each other, and I feel like, you know, why? I mean, you've seen a lot of other women in Bruce's life that has more of an impact on him than Charlotte, and I'm wondering, you know, this just doesn't feel right for me. I mean, that's just my opinion. You guys don't have to agree with me, but that's just my opinion on, you know, it just doesn't feel right for him to be clouded so quickly by just this one woman. I mean, what really is she of importance to Bruce that much, you know, to him? Because usually Bruce is a playboy. He doesn't give a crap. He just has sex with as many women as he can. He doesn't give a shit, you know? And it feels like it's just not Bruce in a way, because he really needs to get, you know, to know the person and fall in love with them, like, you know, Selina Kyle, Catwoman, or Talia al Ghul, you know? Like, something like that, you know? That I would understand Batman would be hesitant about, you know, what he's going to do next, or he could be clouded because he loved, you know, Catwoman and Talia, but it just doesn't feel like, you know, feel right in this issue. So that's just my minor complaint in this, in all. So yeah, I would still, I guess, keep picking this issue up just to see what's going to happen, but it doesn't seem that great at the moment. It doesn't seem to be pushing, you know, along to, you know, just let's keep buying this. And plus, this issue, like, Detective Comics is going to go up to $3.99, so I'm like, really? Detective Comics? I mean, I get Batman going to $3.99, but Detective Comics, does it really have to up the price? I mean, why would you up the price for Detective Comics? Because I heard that they're going to make a whole crossover with Detective Comics and Batman, but still, it just feels like it's not... It doesn't seem like it should be $3.99, you know? Like... but we'll see until then, because we'll get 40 pages, so maybe we'll get more story, maybe it might be better, but who knows? But yeah, I hope you guys like this review of Batman Detective Comics issue number 6. And yeah, I talk to you guys later. I'm sorry I still have a cold. But yeah, talk to you guys later.